Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome back if you're new to the Muslimah podcast. I'm your host Shahed, and I'm here with a new episode for my Short and Sweet with Shahed series, where I pick a topic to yap about, I give some advice, and my strong opinions that you probably didn't ask for, but you're going to want to hear anyways. For today's episode, I'm very excited because I chose a topic that I'm very passionate about and could honestly talk about for years and decades, but I'm going to keep it short and sweet, or at least try to. Honestly, a lot has been on my mind these past couple of days, especially because I'm trying to soak up this last weekend before classes start back up again. I mean, we have been on break from, I don't even know, I want to say December 15th till now, like well over a month. I've just had so much extra downtime compared to when it's during the semester. So now that I'm gonna start going to classes again, labs, lectures, work, repeat, studying, everything, it's definitely gonna be a hard routine to just jump back into. But inshallah khair, we'll just put all of our trust into Allah because He knows what He's doing, and I don't. Anyways, without further ado and without pre-yap, let's get into the topic that I want to talk so badly about, and you probably already have a hint from the title. Or maybe I'll make the title mysterious so you don't figure it out. In honor of World Hijab Day that's coming up February 1st in a couple of days, I wanted to further explore the topic of hijab. And I know I've talked about hijab on this podcast. I have a whole episode dedicated towards it. But I want to approach it from a different perspective this time. The last time I talked about it was more about the struggles of putting it on and feeling ready, that type of thing. But the way I want to talk about or approach this topic this time is from a societal perspective. And what I mean by that is haram police. The idea that hijabis are perfect and angels and do nothing wrong, have no sins, because the second we put a scarf on our head, that makes us 10 out of 10 Muslims, guaranteed Jannah. No, that's literally not how it works. If anything, it is the complete opposite. I always say this. Islam is perfect and Muslims aren't. A hijab does not change that. A khimar doesn't change that. A niqab doesn't change that. Nothing changes the fact that we are no different than a human. We are humans. Humans are made to make mistakes. That is why Islam is so perfect, because it takes into account that Muslims, aka humans, make mistakes on the daily. And that's what's so beautiful about our religion, is that it is so forgiving, and not as forgiving as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, nobody on this planet is as forgiving as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mean, have you guys ever met someone that would forgive you time after time after you've wronged them so many times, and you tell them, I'm going to change, I promise I'm going to change, and they just keep on forgiving you for whatever it may be, and they tell you straight up that regardless of what you do, if you just ask for my forgiveness, I will forgive you. That is so rare nowadays. But where would you find that? You'd only find that type of forgiveness and mercy and rahmah with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, so we established that humans make mistakes. That is common knowledge. Well, at least for everyone but haram police that think hijabis are the one exception. But why is it so common for Muslims to attack hijabis? And I'm not even talking about just Muslim men. I'm talking about non-hijabi women, hijabi women, literally hijabi women attacking other hijabis. Why is it so common? Well, honestly, I think it just comes down to personal insecurity. I don't think it's talked about enough how there is something called religious insecurity. There is insecurity about looks, about clothes, about money, about so many things, like academics, the list goes on and on. But nobody talks about religious insecurity. And unfortunately for us hijabis, we are the punching bag for most Muslims' religious insecurity. It's sad to have to say that out loud, and the fact that it's so true. But I feel like the second a woman or a girl puts on a hijab, every single rule she breaks or sin that she commits hits her 10 times harder. And it isn't even from her own guilt or from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of course, but it's from her community. I mean, putting on the hijab nowadays is like you're putting on a label that says, I am perfect, and shun me for any sin or mistake that I make, because clearly I'm a hijabi and I should be perfect, right? I was sent down by the angels. Hello. No. And people need to understand that. It makes me so mad because it also stops so many Muslim women from putting on hijab, and it scares them away from it. Me personally, I started wearing the hijab at a young age. I started wearing it in 7th grade, so I'm pretty sure I was like 12. And this was before I was seriously on social media and before a lot of the mainstream hate on hijabis was a thing. Well, technically not. I mean, mainstream hate on hijabis has been a thing. I feel like that makes me sound guys. I'm not. I guess I wasn't exposed to it as much, and that made putting on the hijab so much easier for me. But I'm going to be so completely honest, like raw honesty right now, as I am right now. If I was not a hijabi, alhamdulillah I am, but if I was not, it would have been so hard for me to put it on now. With all the hate and all the targeting from our own ummah, it's kind of, I guess, not fun to say. I don't like saying that out loud. I mean, you never know really, like, you can never say never because who knows? But it would definitely be significantly harder, and that is why I admire so many Muslim women that still put on the hijab nowadays, despite all the crazy reactions that, I mean, you have to deal with Muslim men, hijabi men. Wait, hijabi men? Girl, what are you talking about? Honestly, if there was such thing as hijabi men, that would probably be the worst thing ever. Like, what do you even do in that situation? Like, imagine you had to deal with Muslim men on top of everything. Oh my gosh. At that point, fair game. You can have the hijab. You can have it all. We don't want it anymore. As long as we get to Jannah somehow, if we don't have to deal with them, I mean, yeah, no. Inshallah, we all reunite. Inshallah, I get to meet you guys all in Jannah. Anyways, as I was saying, Muslim men, hijabi women, non-hijabi women, just hate from all, and that's just from the ummah. I mean, that's not even talking about all the other people that hate on hijabis. I mean, racists, news articles, so many things that put hijab in such a bad light, especially now with what's happening in Iran with the hijab law. Oh my gosh, like, it really, like, it's your own people that completely betray you in the times that you need the most. I mean, you'd think that the Muslim community is so open, and I mean, sometimes it is. I'm not going to talk down on Muslim communities because they are good for so many reasons. I just think that there are so many heavy stereotypes for hijabis nowadays. I like to think of hijab journeys as steps that you take. I feel like going from a non-hijabi to complete perfect hijab is definitely unrealistic. It is possible, but it is definitely unrealistic, especially when you're factoring in the huge wave of influencer hijabis removing their hijabs. Like, can we talk about that for a second? I mean, that is why I wanted to make this episode so badly, because I feel like a big reason why so many influencer hijabis are removing their hijab is because of the ummah and the amount of hate that Muslims have towards themselves and towards their own sisters and brothers. I mean, everyone is blaming the hijabi for removing her hijab, but they're not blaming the absolute lowlifes that are in their comments 24 hours a day, just talking down on them as if they're not Muslims themselves. And it hurts me even more to see hijabis commenting on other hijabis hateful words, because if anyone were to understand the struggle of hijab, it would be you. But instead of using that understanding to help, you're using it to just break them down. And honestly, I don't even know what to say about that. Really, like, what? Like, it's really just unintelligence at its finest. I'm sorry, I don't want to bash people on here, but it is a strong opinion that I have, and I want to share it because not enough people are talking about this. And every time I'm scrolling on my feed and I see a new hijabi that has removed her hijab, it's kind of just like a daily occurrence these days, I get worried for her, not because of the actual act of removing her hijab. That, at the end of the day, I have no comment on, because you never know where someone is coming from. You never know what led them to do an act, because all you see is their life on social media. And as someone who posts on social media myself, my life is nothing like I post online. And I make it like that for a reason. So when other hijabis or influencers of any sort, even non-Muslim, and you find it in your heart that you want to judge them, please rethink. Because you don't know what their life is like. you don't know what they've been through. You don't know the struggles they've gone through to get to where they are today. So for you to think that you have all the knowledge and all the insight about their life, like you're their therapist or something, commenting on their videos and trying to hate is just beyond me, honestly. Like, as an ummah, we need to work on that specifically. The hate towards women and hijabis is so interesting on so many low levels. Another thing, since we're on the topic of removal of hijab, something that just throws me off is when a hijabi influencer will remove her hijab and someone will repost and be like, oh, like I look up to her and she was my inspiration to wear the hijab and now she's removed it and now I just don't have anyone to look up to. There's nothing left for me. Oh my gosh, like my life is ending. What? I mean, no hate to influencers of any sort because they are very helpful when it comes to inspiration, yes, but they should not be your role model. Islam and the Quran give us so many great role models to look up to. I mean, the wives and the daughters of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ alone are enough. So for you to see some random influencer who is human and makes mistakes and has a crazy life that you know nothing about and take them as your role model for something as important as hijab, I mean, I'd be flattered, but it's risky. So when they end up removing it or creating fragility around it, you shouldn't be surprised. And you shouldn't put that on them because it is not their fault that you chose a social media influencer as your role model for hijab. And I know it sounds harsh, but it is true. Islam gives us those role models that we should look up to, and these influencers are just there solely for inspiration and for connections and community. So you can see someone to connect with or share your struggles with or give advice to. But when it comes to holding a crown as heavy as the hijab, you need to be extra careful with your role models. I know that a lot of what I just said was really heavy, especially if you're someone who has not yet worn the hijab, but I think it's important that more people talk about these struggles instead of hiding them, because I feel like so many people sugarcoat hijab, like, yeah, just wear it, go ahead, do it. And yes, I agree. Honestly, the best way to be ready to wear hijab is to just do it. Being ready is not a feeling, it's a choice. You just go ahead and do it, and then you deal with the struggles, because hijab is going to have struggles. Regardless of what you make of it, you are going to struggle in hijab. And that is why it is such an important aspect of Islam, because it is one of the hardest tests that Allah gives us, and that's how you know He loves you the most. If you put on your hijab and you had the easiest experience, I mean, good for you, but what is a choice without its struggles? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put us on this earth to struggle. It is a test. This whole dunya is a test. Have you ever taken an exam at school that was meant to be easy? Where you were just meant to relax the whole hour and a half? No, that's not how tests work. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warns us multiple times that this dunya is a test. He is warning us that you guys are going to have struggles. So don't enter it thinking that you won't. Don't enter wearing the hijab thinking you're not going to have struggles, because you will. But that's what's so beautiful about it. So next time you think that women have it harder than men in Islam, you're absolutely right. But that's what makes being a woman in Islam 10 times better. So I really hope you guys take what I just said into account, especially if you are a non-hijabi hoping to wear the hijab someday. Even if you're a current hijabi, I am talking to you and directly to you. Please think about what I just said and genuinely consider it, because I feel like so many people hide this side of Islam, and our hair may be covered, but our struggles should not be. My DMs are always open to anyone who might need them. My Instagram is clips by Shahed, CLIPS by Shahed. And my favorite thing about uploading these podcast episodes, these videos, having a platform, especially on Instagram, I love making sure that every girl feels welcome. And with that, I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I did. Share it with your friends, and I really hope to see you guys in the next one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.